Okay, now this particular video I'm going to have a lot of fun with because today we're going to be discussing whether or not your child is ready to go with a tutor. See, this point in time, you've already assessed that your child's not doing well and they need some help, and you're trying to figure out whether or not a tutor is acceptable for you. Well, let's get a couple of things down pat. Tutors are self-employed employees at your time. That means that you have found a situation where you can find a tutor, work with a tutor, and be with your tutor. Okay, fine. That means if you're a college student or high school student, this is for you. Here's some things that I want you guys to know that tell you whether or not you're not ready for a tutor. See, number one, the language. You have to get down with the language that a tutor is looking for. Do not start going into this awkward stage where you are just going to be blatantly disrespectful to your tutor. Why? Because in certain points in time, it drives us nuts. Just like you would see a person driving on a freeway that cuts you off with barely a couple of inches left, yeah, you're going to be a little ticked off, but not that kind of ticked off. We're talking about the kind of people who go, I want the shortcuts. I don't care about what I'm doing. I just want the shortcuts. No. Don't give me anything more. I just want to know how to answer this problem. Stop. People who start discussing things in that kind of language are already telling the tutor, you're not worth their time. There may be some tutors out there willing to deal with it, but that's not worth our time. You want a tutor to help you with not just one problem, but every problem. Sorry to say it, it requires a little bit of context. So please, when you're looking to work with a tutor, just tell them, hey, I'm struggling with this type of problem. What do I need to fix it? That's the kind of language we're looking for. Don't just start asking for shortcuts or you're taking too long. What's the short way to do it? Or what's the easier method for doing it? There may be easier methods and your tutor's getting around to it, but your tutor knows what you need before you need it. Hopefully, depending on the level of skill that you have for a tutor. The second thing that we look for above all, because I covered a lot in point one. Point number two is that when you want to work with an individual tutor, put the calculator away. That's the big thing, because when you're a parent who wants to see their child working, you don't want to see a child just going on a calculator. That doesn't work. You're looking for your tutor to be able to show that student how they're supposed to do your work. Fine, granted. Don't tell the tutor that all you need is what's on the calculator, because I got news for you. When I used to work with students in statistics in a larger tutoring center, they would show me calculator stuff all the time, and it didn't help. Not unless they knew what they were doing. Also in calculus too, but in calculus, depending on the type of calculator, it'll show you the work that you need to do to a degree. It'll help verify some of the items that you have, but that's all it's good for, is verification purposes. And don't even get me started with students that are in elementary to high school, because the moment that they're given a calculator, they stop wanting to critically think. Seriously, they think that everything can be done on some sort of simplified calculator. Fine, you want to think like that? You're not worth the tutor's time. How do we fix this? We fix this by simply putting it away and saying, okay, show me how to do the work first. And then after all the work's been shown, then start punching in numbers. I deal with students all the time who have to do compounded interest. And the first thing I tell them is, let's see if you're capable of turning a compound interest problem into a problem where you solve for t. Now, for those of you who aren't aware of that, I'll make videos about that later on, but moving on. And finally, number 3. Oh my goodness. So the first thing we talked about is language. Second thing we talked about is calculators. Third thing, you are not ready for a tutor or any kind of professional help if you're just going to go Googling the answers. Yes, that is one thing. I know it's a phrase. I'm not bringing down Google in this. I'm saying Googling the answers is a phrase that they use for looking up questions online and getting the answers. Okay, so there's multiple companies that offer all the answers available. Well, if you wanted that, go pay for the companies. But it doesn't help the student. One of the reasons why this doesn't help is because you get into a copy-paste mentality, and that's a problem. Copy-paste mentalities mean that as a whole, you're looking at a question, you're finding the answer, you're plugging in the answer, and you're saying, great, done. No hard feelings, right? I can just kick back, relax, and, kind of just chill it out. Nothing to worry about. It is something to worry about. Because when you get into that mindset, you look at an exam and you start freaking the heck out. Now, these particular items are all being used as a thank you to somebody who's currently on my Facebook page because he brought up a fair point. There are people who hire tutors left and right, and the students don't want to do the work. Why even bother? Save your money. There are many, many times when I have to go out and I just have to tell people, I'm sorry, I can't work with your child. It sucks that I have to say it, but it's true. Why is it true? Because on occasions, there are children out there who believe that they are entitled, and that's one rant video that I'm getting ready for, is one on self-entitlement. But again, bringing that back. There are children out there who believe that as a whole, the tutor's on their beck and call, that the tutor is able to do what they want to do immediately in a snap. We're not miracle workers. Tutoring has a cumulative effect. Use it. The more you use it, the better off you're going to be.